Hello, this is Priscilla Rice, and I'm coming to you from Live Oak Recording Studio. This week, we're going to have a rebroadcast of one of our earlier classic podcasts. We hope you enjoy it, and thanks so much for listening. Episode number 676, The 7 Principles of Giver's Gain.
You're listening to the official BNI podcast with BNI founder and Chief Visionary Officer, Dr. Ivan Misner. Stay tuned for networking and referral marketing tips from the man who's been called the father of modern networking, along with suggestions and insights into getting the most from your membership in the world's largest networking organization, BNI.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the official BNI podcast. I'm Priscilla Rice, and I'm coming to you from Live Oak Recording Studio in Berkeley, California, and I'm joined on the phone today by the founder and the Chief Visionary Officer of BNI, Dr. Ivan Misner. Hello, Ivan. How are you, and where are you?
How are you, and where are you? I love hearing those words again, Priscilla. I've had so many people say to me they miss Priscilla saying, how are you, and where are you? So I decided that I should start talking about where I am virtually around the world, because I'm still doing a lot of virtual events all over the world. So we're going to continue with how are you and where are you, but it'll be where I am virtually until I can get back out and start to see people in person. In addition to the many recorded visits that I'm doing all around the world this week, I am live in Utah for a big regional event this week. And I will be visiting many, many different regions for large events all over the world and have been for the last 6 months. So thanks for asking, Priscilla.
Yeah, it's great to have you back, Ivan, in your where are you mode.
And yeah, I'm glad we added it back, because I've been doing virtual events for the last 6 months, and I don't know why we didn't think of talking about that. But I just want members to know I'm out and about and visiting many, many regions. It's hard to do chapter visits, but because there's over 9,700 of them, but regional events I do. So let's jump into today's topic on the 7 principles of Giver's Gain. I love this topic. It is based on a book that has just been released called Infinite Giving. And the subtitle is The 7 Principles of Giver's Gain. And the book was done with Julian Lewis and Greg Davies, who are my co-authors in the book. And to be honest, they came to me with the concept and suggested the book, and I was really excited to do this. So our goal for this book, and I want to talk about some of the content that's in the book. Our goal for it was to lay out the what we believe are the 7 principles of Giver's Gain and how everyone can apply them to their business and to life. Because Giver's Gain is more than a phrase. It's a way of living one's life. It's a perspective to view and interact with the world. It's an attitude, not an expectation. And when it's applied properly, it'll change your life. And when it changes enough lives, it'll change the world. So in Giver's Gain, we talk about the 7 principles. And an easy way to remember, although the book is called Infinite Giving, an easy way to remember how Giver's Gain and the 7 principles fit together is this. We created a formula. The formula is GG plus 7P equals IG. And this is what it means. Giver's Gain, GG, plus the 7 principles equals infinite giving. And so the title for the book is Infinite Giving, but it is about the 7 principles. And the idea is that if we respect the principles of Giver's Gain, it has the potential to change the world. Full stop, end of discussion. It can change the world. And I've seen that with BNI. Here are the 7 principles. I'm going to give you all 7 at once, and I want to talk briefly about each of them. Number 1 is, are they in your light? Are they in your light? Number 2 is, give without expectation. Number 3 is, give more than expected. Number 4 is, give what you can afford. Number 5, it's okay to gain. Number 6, stay humble. And number 7, show gratitude. So let's jump in on some of these and talk about them. And as I do, I just really want to thank Greg and Julian because they were fantastic to work with. And I'm really excited to have done this book with them. Let's start with number 1. Are they in your light? That concept comes from my book, Who's in Your Room? And in a nutshell, it's really about life being about discernment, that you have to have discernment in the people that you trust and work with in order to make Giver's Gain work. And that infinite giving doesn't mean you need to be an infinite victim. I meet people in BNI where they say, well, Giver's Gain, I'm giving, I'm not getting anything. That's not what Giver's Gain is all about. You don't have to be a victim to make Giver's Gain work. And we talk about this in the book and how to make Giver's Gain effectively work for you. And it's one of the principles I'll be talking about here in a minute. The bottom line here is that the people in our lives determine the quality of our lives. And so it all starts with the quality of your network. Number 2, the second principle is to give without expectation. That's the second principle. The first is who's in your light. Second, give without expectation. When we give, we should do so with no expectation of any direct return on our giving. A gift isn't a gift if we expect something in return. So once there's an expectation of something in return, then it's really a transaction, not a gift. Giver's Gain works best when there is no transactional expectation. And the 7 principles, when followed correctly, allow the world to create Giver's Gain communities like BNI that sustain themselves in a world of infinite giving and where no one person gets exhausted and gives up. It only takes a little time and effort to really set you apart from the rest of business people in a community when you have and practice a Giver's Gain philosophy. Number 3 is give more than expected. Give more than expected. So the previous one was, you might think that it's contradictory, the previous principle of giving without expectation, and then this is give more than expected, but it's not. Giving what you can afford is not contradictory or mutually exclusive. This is part of applying discernment to your actions. So give more than you may be expected to, but never exceed what you can afford. Do one while respecting the other. That's the important part of principle number 3, give more than expected. A good friend of mine, Lisa Nichols, wrote, and I know she's put it on in at least one of her books, your job is to fill your own cup so it overflows. Then you can serve others joyfully from your saucer. I love that expression.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great expression. And in a nutshell, it's give from your saucer, not your cup. And that's what we want you to do with one of these principles of Giver's Gain. Okay, so the next principle of Giver's Gain is this is all part of giving what you can afford. And the next principle, that's principle number 4, is give what you can afford. And so you give from the saucer. Number 5 is it's okay to gain. Principle number 5, it's okay to gain. Giver's Gain is 2 words, and receiving is part of the philosophy of Giver's Gain. So it's not only, giving is not only part of it, but gaining is part of it. With Giver's Gain, we all have the right to both give and to receive, to give and to gain. The confidence here is to be vulnerable, and it comes from building trust within a team or group. And so you build confidence through vulnerability and building trust within your group. And when you do that, it's okay to gain. People are comfortable with you benefiting, which means, and we talk about this in the book at length, you have to ask for what you need. And when you've built a meaningful relationship, you've earned the right to ask people for what you need. And that's an important part of the principles of Giver's Gain. So number 6, the 6th principle is stay humble. Humble people don't think less of themselves. They just think of themselves less. If that sounds familiar, Priscilla, I talked about that in episode number 645, where I was talking about humility. And I was actually working out some material that for the book at the time. A humble person's ego does not enter the room before they do. And go take a look at episode 645, as well as the book Infinite Giving, for how humility comes into play for the concept of giver's gain. The seventh principle is to show gratitude. And I talked about that as well in an episode number 650, the importance of showing gratitude. And the gratitude effect is not New Age psychobabble, it's science. There's science behind it, and I talk about that science in episode 650, and we talk about it at length in the book Infinite Giving. Gratitude, like so many other principles of success, it's simple, but it's not easy. It's hard to apply, and the gratitude effect doesn't take much effort, and it costs little or nothing. So these are the 7 principles that make up giver's gain and that lead to infinite giving. Giver's gain is, I believe, not only a great way to get business, it's an even better way to do business. And we do that when we give within a community. We do that by helping others. We give because we know that in the same situation, others will do it the same for us. We give because we want to give back from where we've profited it. We give because when we work together, we get bigger results. And we give because it feels good. These are some of the reasons why I think that our philosophy of giver's gain is probably the most powerful core value that we have. And it's certainly the first core value that we created in BNI. Day to day, when we live in a giver's gain community, I think life is just better for all of us. And the key here is to apply all of these principles in unison. We have a great story towards the end of the book about a rock tumbler and how in a rock tumbler you put in a lot of rocks to get these amazing results of these beautiful stones that come out of it. And the principles of giver's gain are a little like that rock tumbler. If you just throw one rock into a rock tumbler, it's not going to come out shiny and beautiful. But by throwing these 7 different stones, these 7 different concepts into the mix, you really come out with this concept of infinite giving, which we talk about at length in the book. And I'll make sure that there's a link here in this podcast. So in 10 minutes, you've gotten a summary of infinite giving, but I would love for you to go to Amazon or to your local bookstore and pick up a copy of Infinite Giving, because it really will help you as a BNI member. And if you do, please do a review online, because the reviews really help the books a great deal. So any thoughts, Priscilla, before we wrap?
Yeah. Well, first of all, giver's gain makes me feel very proud of BNI. It's like what sets it apart. And it's the first thing I always talk about with a visitor, somebody who's new to the organization. So I think it's great that you've written a book and you can talk about it in more depth. And I think when you said, there's a couple things. One is when you said that it just makes you feel good. I think that is so true. It's a wonderful feeling, especially for networkers, people that take pride in putting people together and making things happen. And I think that's a really valid point. So I think I had something else to say, but now I've forgotten it. So I'm going to pass it back to you.
Well, thank you, Priscilla. I really appreciate that. I really believe that you may not be able to make a world of difference as an individual, but you can make a difference in the world. Giving is contagious, and conscious giving can be infinite. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Priscilla.
That's great, Ivan. Thank you so much. Well, the sponsor for this podcast is Ivan's Inner Circle. Go check out the great content available at www.ivansinnercircle.com. He has assembled a variety of interesting topics for you to learn about and also to participate in. So thank you so much for listening. This is Priscilla Rice, and we look forward to having you join us again next week for another exciting episode of the official BNI podcast.